50,000 years ago, men and women were attracted to each other. This is probably why we're here today. 20,000 years ago, men and women were still attracted to each other. Opposites attract, I guess. 1,000 years ago, men and women were attracted to each other. And we are here today. 500 years ago, same thing. Opposite attracted then, and this is still attract today. At least, this is what the ancient but popular belief says. I wonder, where does opposites attract come from? Thousands of years ago, the popular belief may have had a very simplistic source. Does he have a penis? Yes. Does she have a penis? No. Does she have a vagina? Does he have a vagina? Since yes is the opposite of no, males and females must be opposites then. And it's obvious that they are attracted to each other. Of course, this attraction is the cause for our survival as a species. But I wonder if those little but obvious differences were the source of the belief. Opposites attract. Thousands of years ago, people were very simple. Their conclusion may have been in their image. But I'm not here to talk to you about that form of attraction. I'm here to talk to you about my book, An Illogical Existence. It is about the atom, the atomic structure that we have assumed to contain opposite electrical charges for over 400 years. Since then, we have been made to believe that those opposite forces were the cause for electromagnetism. I believe those opposite charges don't exist, and to make you see my point of view, I would attract your attention towards a few thoughts. First, we will go back more than 400 years ago when the idea came about. It happened when a man rubbed two pieces of charred wood together and saw that little pieces of straw were attracted to them. I'll give you a duplicate of that experiment with a balloon and sawdust instead. He concluded that there must be opposite forces inside the atom, and that was the birth of electrons and protons. One particle with a negative charge and another with a positive charge. But I have doubts on his conclusion. I'm going to tell you why by talking to you about conclusions. I will show you some objects, and you will be able to conclude on what they are for yourself. What I want you to see is that if you concluded that this was a book with a green cover, if you concluded that this was a white coffee cup, and if you concluded that this was a black shoe, you were right. But I also want you to see that you based your conclusions on knowledge you already had. You already knew what a book was and what green was. You already knew what a white coffee cup was. And you already knew what a shoe looks like and what the color black is. If you didn't know those things, you could not have concluded anything. Conclusions are always drawn out of pre-acquired knowledge. Always. 400 years ago, a man rubbed two pieces of charred wood together and saw that little pieces of straw were attracted to them. His conclusion? There must be opposite forces in there. So what did he already know about the attraction of opposites? He had to already know something in order to draw his conclusion. Conclusions are always drawn out of pre-acquired knowledge. I can tell you exactly what the man knew. I don't know him, but he probably knew that males and females were attracted to each other. He probably knew that yes is the opposite of no. Penis? Yes. Penis? No. Vagina? Yes. Vagina? No. Yes is a positive answer. No is a negative answer. I find it fascinating that he would come up with a negative and positive force inside the atom producing the attraction. Could he have based his conclusion on that kind of simplistic but popular knowledge? I don't know what he knew, but he had to already know something in order to draw his conclusion. Conclusions are always drawn out of pre-acquired knowledge. Opposites attract. He probably based his conclusion on something more serious than that, something more scientific. 400 years later, there is particle physics. We discover many new particles, but we have to see that the ancestors of those particles were the first two, the electrons and the protons. We discover many particles, but we can never prove their existence in the real world. In the real world, when descendants are real, ancestors were real, and it is quite easy to prove it. You are real, I am real, and our parents were real too. When ancestors are only imaginary, their descendants can only be imaginary too. Opposites attract. Where did that come from? Were the ancestors of all the particles of particle physics real? Since science needs mathematics, in my book I confront the atomic model with the most basic mathematics, and they are incompatible. Enjoy your read.